Pickleball is a new sport, but there's a lot of old knowledge. How do you know what's right or what's wrong? Well, if your pickleball coach tells you any of these things, they're fired. First and foremost, if your pickleball coach tells you that in order to beat a banger, you need to slow them down and make them dink, they're fired. Let's say my lobster ball machine is a banger. My shot's pretty tough. I have to take the perfect amount of pace off of this ball to get it to land midway through the kitchen. I really only have a couple of feet that I can hit into to soften and reset this ball. I could have the best resets in the world, but I'm never gonna be able to send this ball back and punish my opponent. Based on advanced geometry and trigonometry and algebra and all that stuff, calculus even, statistics, that's all I got. Based on all those things, that's a losing proposition for the resetter. I have an entire video dedicated to this topic. If you still don't know why you should punish a banger instead of resetting against a banger, I encourage you to go check it out after you watch the rest of this video and like and subscribe. The second piece of bad advice is stay up at the kitchen. Don't back up. Most pickleball coaches will tell you to avoid no man's land like the plague. Well, we get caught in no man's land all the time, so we need to learn how to play from there. We might not want to hang out in no man's land, but it happens all the time. And there's a good reason to actually back up and defend. So if I do hit a pop-up dink, I might back up and give myself some space to defend before I work my way back into that kitchen. So no man's land certainly isn't the spot that you want to just hang out, but there's plenty of times where you would choose to be there. Another example of where I might choose to be in no man's land is if I hit a weaker third. If I hit a bad third, I'm not just gonna run in blindly like that. No, I'm gonna hang back a little bit, maybe hang in no man's land. Althoff, what do you want, dude? It's Althoff. It's Althoff. Get Althoff. Homie, you.
2 hours later.
When Althoff calls in the middle of a YouTube video, you have to. Okay, so where were we? Before Althoff rudely interrupted us. Unbelievable. He thinks because he tucks his shirt in, he can get away with whatever. If I don't hit the perfect third shot, I'm not gonna run all the way in. I might hang out in the transition zone a little bit and then work my way forward. Victory. Check out my favorite drill for how to play from no man's land, linked in the description, and right here, wherever, somewhere. Third piece of bad pickleball advice. The forehand takes the middle. Wrong. We got lots of Trump memes in this one. I don't know, it's just easy. How often do you have a ball whiz through the middle and you're just looking at your partner like, that was you? No, it was you. Well, it was your forehand. Doesn't matter. You! Dude, that's your forehand. It's your forehand. It's your forehand.
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed since when?
Now?
Okay, now compare that to how often you see two people clunk paddles in the middle. Ask yourself which error is worse, letting the ball go through the middle or clunking paddles? Obviously the worst error is not going for the ball. Actually, if you both go for it, there's opportunity for both of you to make the shot. If neither of you goes for it, there's no chance. We see balls whiz through the middle all the time. How often do you see players clunk paddles together?
I'm just too tall.
Mine?
No, it's literally mine. I'm just too fast. It's mine.
I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Too good.
What are you doing?
There's a short version and a long version to who takes the middle. The short version is just go for it. Don't trust your partner, just go for any middle ball. It's better than the alternative of deferring to your partner and nobody going for it. The long version depends on where the ball is, where you are positioned, and several other factors. Again, I have a whole video dedicated to who covers the middle, but for purposes of this video, just cover the middle. It's better for both of you guys to go for that ball than for neither of you to go for the ball, regardless of whose forehand is there. The next error I see is ready position, and there are a couple different errors with ready position. First, I see a lot of times coaches will say, keep your paddle way out in front. Make sure that your hands are way out in front of you. If my arms are too extended, I can't get very much power on this ball. If my arms are in tight, I can get power, but I can't block very well. So we want to be somewhere in between the two, where my arms are in front of me, but I still have space to swing forwards towards that ball. For me, I'm thinking about having just a couple of inches between my forearm and my body. It allows me to both block as well as punch. Okay, the other piece of bad pickleball advice that I see is favor that backhand. Most of the shots we hit come to the backhand. Well, what if I play against a lobster ball machine that can aim? Well, it's just gonna hit every shot over at my chicken wing, right? If I'm sitting on my backhand all the time, I'm gonna get caught in that chicken wing spot. So as soon as you play against somebody who can aim, you don't want your ready position to be here, but rather somewhere a little bit more neutral, where you can hit either forehands or backhands. Maybe telling somebody to wait in a backhand ready position is good for a beginner, but what am I gonna do if I see you sitting in your ready position like this? Where am I hitting that ball? I'm gonna hit it over to your forehand every single time. So this backhand ready position may work until you run into somebody that can aim the ball. At that point, they're just gonna hit everything over to your forehand and your goose is cooked. All right, last but not least is my absolute biggest pet peeve. You might be able to guess it, but it is the pickleball advice of never miss a serve. You're probably thinking to yourself, okay, here we go. Zane's on his soapbox about the serve again. And you're absolutely correct. And I'm not gonna get off my soapbox until people stop with this garbage myth about serving. How come nobody ever says, oh, don't ever miss a dink, don't ever miss a volley, don't ever miss an overhead, don't ever miss a return? Why is the serve unique? Well, the argument there is that the serve is the only shot that you fully control yourself, but I think that's irrelevant. There's a risk to reward trade-off on every single shot that we hit, and the serve is no different. If you're making 100% of your serves, you're not taking on enough risk. You're leaving something on the table. So I could go years, I could play pro competition and not miss a single ball. But what I would do is I would hit this ball 10 feet over the net, right to the middle of the court, and I would never win another point. If there's no risk, there's no return. I'm fairly confident that I could play a full year of professional pickleball without missing a shot. I also wouldn't win a point. I could make every shot if I just hit the ball 8 feet over the net, right to the center of the court. My opponents would just crush an overhead at me every time and I would never win. But didn't miss a shot. I choose to take a little bit of risk in exchange for a little bit of reward. In my opinion, and based on some numbers that I've crunched on my games, I think that players should miss somewhere between 5 and 8% of serve. If you're making every single serve, take a little bit more risk. Don't miss the ball wide, don't miss the ball in the net, but maybe we miss a few shots long. Woo! Send it. So if your pickleball coach tells you any of these things, you need to fire them and you need to sign up for my app called My Journey Pickleball. We have individual instruction from top level instructors like myself, John Cincola, Colin Johns, Jordan Briones. It's an incredible app that gives you personalized instruction. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Follow the link in the description to download My Pickleball Coach, and make sure to subscribe if I saved you from a pickleball coach that told you any of these 5 things. Wrong. Aren't you on your honeymoon right now?